Hello. If there is one major area of concern about the way that we care for the patients tragically afflicted with COVID-19, it's been the lack of PPE for the staff, personal protective equipment. Some were even reduced to trying to use bin bags as a way of avoiding infection. And we have to accept that face masks never work as well as people would like us to think they did. So in this video, I'm going to try and find one possible answer. Now, you won't mind my saying that PPE is not an acronym. An acronym, by definition, from the Greek, must be a word, like NATO. Yet, thousands of reference sites, mostly American ones, persist in getting this wrong. CERN is an acronym. Most of what they list isn't. There's actually a joke among managers. What you need is TLA, they say. And when you ask, what does TLA mean? They say, 3-letter acronym. The entire joke is wrong. TLA can't be an acronym because it isn't a word you can say. Laser is an acronym, so is IKEA, but BBC isn't, nor is FBI. They are abbreviations, and the same is true of TLA and PPE. The problem isn't just supply, but efficacy. Many people hate wearing this stuff anyway. In most industries, we see staff just won't wear protection. When it comes to face masks and the public, most agree that that is a matter of personal choice.
If people want to wear a mask, that is okay. It protects others more than it protects you because it prevents you from breathing or speaking moistly on them.
Masks may be able to control moistly speakage, but they don't control viruses. Masks cannot work as well as people claim. No such filter can stop a virus, and the wearer's breath spills out from the sides. Masks are inconvenient. They muffle speech, and when you're wearing the whole kit, they terrify the patient. There must be something better, a complete rethink from the start. It must be lightweight, but will guarantee to prevent all germs from getting to the wearer. Fungi, spores, bacteria, viruses, prions. Visors restrict vision, so we need something with an uninterrupted all-round view. Masks can cause a feeling of claustrophobia. They are not always easy to take on and off, and they limit easy breathing. For everyday masks, there are only a few centimetres between the wearer's mouth and the air in the theatre or the ward. There should be 10 times as much as that. It isn't always easy to wear spectacles or to adjust them, and it's impossible to use a phone. We want something that isn't tight on head or face, no straps or buckles to adjust, nothing confining, cheap to manufacture, and offering pure, fresh air, not germ-laden air from the ward. Ideally, one device should be wearable by anybody, and it shouldn't fog up with condensation. So let's picture an idealized situation to see if we can find a new answer. So here is the patient, sleepy perhaps, or just relaxing. The bed is conventional with its protective cradle so she can't fall out. And on the wall is the usual range of technical equipment that the staff need to care for her. In this case, the nurse had been wearing a conventional face mask, but today he won't need that. Every nurse knows that their main concern is the welfare of the patient. But in an epidemic, it is very important that the staff avoid getting infected. So we'll surround the nurse's head in a plastic bubble-shaped chamber, which is fed with a supply of sterilised pure air through an air pipe running from a flexible connection at a point-of-use positive pressure air socket mounted on the wall. Nothing can ever get into the chamber. The nurse is completely insulated from pathogens in the air of the ward. And here is this revolutionary new equipment as it might be in use. Fresh air, filtered and sterilised by ultraviolet, is fed to the nurse through a tube running from the wall socket. The air enters through the air pipe, gently flows out of the chamber so the nurse remains safe. Air escapes from the lower rim of the chamber just as it does around a conventional mask. The spherical chamber gives protection from droplets, and the wearer is breathing pure, fresh air. But this won't work, and for several practical reasons. It's solid and claustrophobic. You can't wear your glasses, it muffles your voice. And it tends to mist up. Literally, back to the drawing board. We'll redraw the head. And we will protect him this time with an inexpensive, flexible, inflatable airbag. Now, we'll tear this off. Here it is. And replace the inflexible dome with the new plastic chamber. This version shows that it would be fixed under the chin with something like Velcro. We have created a surgical bonnet. It's Brian's version of a bonnet. It's a BRONNET! Having a pneumatic air supply means you need an air pump, and that might seem to involve costly new technology. But suitable pneumatic systems are old hat. As a little boy, I recall stores having pneumatic tubes to send bills to the cashier, and I was very surprised to find a city-wide installation of a pneumatic mail system when I first went to Prague in the late 1960s. The system still exists, though it's been damaged by floods. Bulky packages in sealed cylinders were sent below ground through pneumatic mail pipes which connect to terminals in post offices. The pipes extend for 34 miles, 55 kilometres. And you will still find these rows of air pumps powering a mail system today in many modern hospitals, where they take prescriptions and medical samples from one department to another. If you have a close look at the sockets on the wall, you can see they have specially designed connectors that supply pressurized and purified air. Users could move from one wall socket to another with air tanks on trolleys. Divers use those already. I have other uses in mind for this pressurized air. It could power ventilators, making them less costly. It could inflate airbags to support patients or help them be turned over. It could be ducted into porous mattresses to manage pressure sores. And we ought to have an adapter to inflate balloons for parties. Right, it's time to try it out. We're going to need some plastic sheet, masking tape and foam tape, hook and eye strips, scissors, and of course my anatomical dissecting kit, which has all the instruments I might also need. So, let's see what a BRONNET might look like, and then we'll find out if it works in practice. So, after some contingent modification and expedient improvisation, or farting about as we call it, we have a prototype bonnet, complete with its air supply and ready to put to the test. Popping it on is no effort at all, and it could be designed to fit easily under the chin, as any bonnet should. It means I'm completely sealed off from the outside world. It means that I have my own private air supply. It even means that I can continue to use a mobile phone if I want to. Hello, I'm terribly sorry, I think you have a wrong number. It means I cannot possibly acquire any outside germs. The nurse's view of the patient is unimpeded, and indeed the patient gets a pretty decent view of the nurse, and that can be very important in terms of personal contact, friendliness, and speedy recovery. in the close confines of a hospital ward, reflections will be much less of a problem. Why, I can even wear, and if I need to, adjust my own spectacles. It really is extremely easy to remove. So, this little prototype seems to work. Would it work in practice? Only time will tell. But if it does, do you know, I honestly think that could solve an awful lot of pressing problems.